Yo, what's up, guys? It's New Year's Eve here in New York City. It's about an hour and a half from the New Year. I am here in bed because it's pouring rain outside and I can't really get anywhere near Times Square or the ball because I was out doing stuff today, not waiting in line to get to Times Square since 5 a.m. So, is what it is. I'm all right with it. I mean, I can watch it on TV, but yeah, let's talk some ideas. What's been going on in my head recently? One idea is everything works. Anything in the modern world works if you are willing to work. And not even if you're willing to work, like it's like you need ambition or you need to force yourself to do something. If you are in line and in tune with yourself and doing what you truly want to do, it's going to work. That's what I currently believe. I believe it 100%. Like, you can talk all these ideas of how to get rich or how to get famous or how to be happy or how to get the relationship you want. Well, you can plot and you can scheme and you can plan. Any of it works. All the ideas you're spitballing, all the things you can think of, yeah, they all work. You can look them up on YouTube, you can look them up on Google, you can look them up on Instagram. There's people doing whatever you're thinking about doing, and they're succeeding. But you're not going to beat those people if you don't live what you're doing. If you're not being, if you aren't in tune with your being, and you're trying to do things that are out of tune with yourself. So it all works, you know, a lawn care business, a beach care business, an Instagram business, personal branding on YouTube, like basically what I'm doing, painting, music, corporate business, finance, like restoration, outdoor restoration, architecture, whatever. And all of it works. But you've got to be in line with it for it to work, or else it's not going to be sustainable, first of all. Second of all, you're not going to have the energy that your competition's going to have. The guy that loves and lives what he's doing is going to beat the person that doesn't love and live what they're doing 99.9999% of the time. So if you don't really believe that doing real estate flipping is your passion and where you're aligned with who you truly are and is authentically you, it's not going to work. Maybe it will temporarily. Like me, my business in high school was beach care. It was basically outdoor services, and I was grinding in the 100-degree sun and working my ass off doing, menial manual labor, essentially, as I now see it. I mean, at the time, though, when it was working, it was me. It was like, this is my thing. I built this thing. I'm making money. I'm investing this money. Like, I am living it. Like, there's nothing else I could be doing right now. This is the best use of my time. That's what it was. But eventually that faded out, and I questioned all that. Am I really going to spend my whole life doing this kind of labor? Like, this isn't me anymore. So it can change. It definitely can change. And you've got to be open to that flexibility, I think, of being open to pivot when it's time to pivot. So it's a difficult thing to generalize, right? I'm trying to think in first principles, the universal principles. There's no specific thing like you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I can't tell you what to do, like the specifics. I just think currently you've got to be the person you want to be and do the things that person does. and that's it. And whatever that is at this current time, that's what it is. And first you got to figure out that through reflection and thinking and experimentation. And once you've got a general idea of the guiding area you want to go towards, that's the first step, right? Then there's going to be a whole bunch of fear that's going to try to block your way. But I think a good sign that you're on the right path is when you go into that fear, when you go against that fear and you fight back and you take the action, even though it doesn't feel comfortable, even though it's uncomfortable. Once you do it, it feels good. I think that's a great sign that you're on the right path. Yeah. That's kind of the idea right now for today. Everything works. All the actions, it works. It works if the person behind the actions believes in it 100%. And if you don't believe in it 100%, you gotta find the thing that you do believe. Or it's not a thing though. It's not a thing. I think that's a trap, is to be like, I don't like, I figured out medicine isn't my true path. It's whatever. It's this. It's actually business, or business isn't my true passion. It's XYZ, you name it. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because it's a trap, because you're looking for these external things that are unpersonalized. I think you say, no, I realized doing whatever I think medicine is not me. Being me is me, and that's it. And whatever being me means to you, whatever passions you've got, whatever inspires you, whatever you feel the coolest thing you can do right now is, or what you've been pushing off out of fear, but that keeps coming back. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, right? I'm still figuring it out every day. But I feel like I'm getting closer. I know I'm getting closer. This is the closest I've ever been. And, I'm not making any money right now. I was making a lot more money in high school. I had a lot larger net worth in high school. It felt like I was succeeding more in high school. But now I feel like I figured this shit out. I put all this time in the dark with no recognition. I just put my time in doing what I thought was the best use of time. That was the principle I lived by. The way I saw the world ever since I learned about compounding interest was, okay, how do I live the longest? And how do I maximize the amount of value I create in my life by the end of that 100 years? And it at first was always stocks, S&P 500 index funds, invest in America where I don't have to sell the stocks, and so that I'm never taxed on them until at the end when I sell them. So because if you buy and sell, you're going to get taxed. Those taxes then get taken out and don't compound, and small percentages over 50 years, 70 years, 80 years are massive differences. So I always thought in money compounding terms for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, probably till I was 18. Once I was done with the business and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't want to just grind for money. There's more to life than money. There's more to value than money. It took a couple more months or maybe years until I started seeing these abstract things as value and percentages. So if I can get 11% on a stock, an index fund, year over year on average for 70 years, rule of 72 is you take the percentage return you get per year divided by 72, and that's how many years it takes to compound. So say I get 11% per year, divide that by 72, it's going to be a little less than 7. Let's just round it to 7. My money's going to double every 7 years. The value I have is going to double every 7 years. That's an oversimplification because of inflation. But we're going to simplify it and ignore inflation and refer to it as value. So every 7 years, my money is going to double. My value is going to double, right? At first, I just thought it was money. Then I realized it's value. So let's just start with money. You got $1,000. It's going to double every 7 years. So after 7 years, you got a 2,000. You start with 1,000. After 7 years, you got 2,000. After another 7 years, you got 4,000, right? So 14, right? That's 2 compounds. Say 70 years, right? So after 7, we got 2,000. After 14 years, we've got 4,000, right? And I'm gonna figure this out right here. Start with 7. Or we start with 1. We start with 1,000, 2,000. How many compounds are we gonna have? 7. It doubles every 7 years, and we have 70 years to double. So we're gonna say it doubles, it doubles 10 times. 1,000 becomes 2,000 after 1 compound. 4,000, 8,000, 16,000, 32,000, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1,024, 1,024, right? Okay. So 1,024, that is, if I'm not wrong, that's 1 million and what would that be? 1,000. You just add 3 zeros at the end. 1,000 times 1,024. We got 1 million and 24,000, I believe. So basically, after 70 years, every $1,000 you invest becomes $1 million, or every dollar you invest becomes 1,000. So I was looking at this stuff as a teenager, like, okay, I'm going to turn every dollar I earn into 1,000 by the time I die, essentially. Right? So we're talking about 1,000x multiplier because of how young I was and the investment vehicles I had. And yeah, so we're gonna 1,000x every dollar we make. And this is just thinking in dollars. So I run a business, I grind money, because every dollar I make is $1,000 essentially by the time I die, and I'm thinking like that. So I run this business, eventually starts making thousands of dollars a summer. Get to the point where I'm making probably $70 on average per hour, maybe 80. There's times I'm making near 200. Other times I'm making 30. So we're gonna say $70 an hour. So I'm working making $75 an hour. In my mind, I'm making $75,000 worth of value over my lifetime for every hour, which is it's an incredible motivator when you're just grinding. So when I make $1,000 in a day, I just generated $1 million. I brought $1 million worth of value into my life over my lifetime. Which it's awesome. I love thinking like that, and it's completely true. There's no reason it's not true. And if you don't believe it, that's just your beliefs. The reality is it's completely true. So by the time I stop running the business, I've got probably $60,000 in the S&P 500 index funds. So you times that by 1,000, 60,000 now, not, yeah, we're talking 60,000. 60,000, you add 3 zeros to the end, 60,000, 600,000, 6 million, 60 million, right? We're talking 60 million by the time I die. That's the way I'm thinking. It's all right. You know, I've always wanted to be a multi-billionaire, so it's not going to cut it, but that's as if I never touch that money again, and I never I lived paycheck to paycheck the rest of my life, never invested any money or more money. End up with a decent amount of money, you know, and we rounded. It would have been like 6.5, which means we could have doubled again potentially, depending on the rounding. Which would That's a massive difference if it compounds another time. If we're getting a um, compound every 7 years or every 6.5 years versus 7 years over a 70-year period, that's almost another compounding. Another compounding with a $60 million nest egg is now 120 million, right? Massive, massive difference. So you're seeing with a long time horizon, a whole lifespan, essentially, I was 12 when I started learning about compounding interest and applying it to a whole lifespan. These small, tiny differences over a very long period of time make enormous differences by the end. So at some point during my time away from school, I'm thinking, okay, I start learning about meta skills. I've always been learning. I didn't know exactly what I was doing. Heard Ty Lopez, an internet entrepreneur, talking that reading and self-education is very important. I didn't know why. I just trusted in the messaging and that principle, and read a little bit every day. Eventually I figure out, okay, there's meta skills that are like universal skills that apply to all pursuits, such as problem solving, such as learning, such as thinking, reading, communication, self-awareness, discipline, stuff like that. Those are like meta skills. I started discovering meta skills. I'm like, holy cow, right? I'm putting this money into the S&P 500 and expecting a 10 or 11% year per year return. And these are coming from mature businesses. Okay. If those are going to get me a 10 or 11% return per year, right? Well, I've already run a business. I've learned firsthand that investments into your own business way outpace investments into mature businesses that have already invaded. Now they're just kind of expanding and they're slowly iterating, right? Those mature businesses that you're buying in the S&P 500, their potential for explosive growth is so much less than your own business. You put, okay, let's say I put, to make this business that's now generating me $60,000 in the summer, I need to invest in a $10,000 four-wheeler to start, and I needed to put $500 in marketing. So we're talking, say $9,500 for the four-wheeler, say $500 for marketing. Okay, we're talking a $10,000 investment, but what's the potential return? 60,000 per year? Okay, holy cow! I just put 10,000 in, and I'm getting 60,000 per year cash return. That's insanity. Compared to you put that $10,000 into an S&P 500 and you're getting 10%, let's say, to keep things simple. You put 10,000 in, you're getting $1,000, right? So 60,000 versus 1,000. Not even comparable, right? How big of a difference investing in your business, especially in the early stages, the potential returns are unbelievably higher. You can talk about, look at the growth of my business. It went from, okay, I think I probably made $100 or something my first summer. The next summer I made somewhere like 7,000, right? What? Okay. We 70x'd, right? If I'm not thinking this wrong, that's a 7,000% increase. Next year I did 25,000, let's say. Okay. That's a 350% increase. The next summer I did 50. That's a 100 or 200% increase, right? A doubling. early stage businesses have so much more potential, right? If you invest in the right startup, you can make so much money compared to investing in a mature business, right? Like Coca-Cola. You can get a return, but it's nothing like a startup or your own business, your own businesses in the beginning. Incredible returns potentially. So then I take one more step back. So right, we started with other people's businesses, other people's mature businesses. Then we said, okay, these can give you X return, 10, 11%. Investing money in your own business, okay, well, this can make a lot more. Being very conservative, we can say 25%. You should have if you're running your own small business, 25% year over year return is completely reasonable for your investments. So now we say 25%. Law of 72, say we're doubling every 3 years, right? So if I can manage to get a 25% return with my own business ventures, holy cow, now we're doubling every 3 years. Now we take that $60,000 lump sum, and instead of 10 doublings over my lifetime, say 70 years, now we're talking 23 and a third. We're talking about 23 doublings, right? Last time we ended with $1 gets you $1,000 times your original, right? Now, if I'm thinking of this correctly, about 20 doublings over a lifetime. If you started with $1, 20 doublings is going to end you with $1 million. If I'm not thinking of that incorrectly, it might be even. It should be more. I'm rounding. I'm saying after 10 doublings we have 1,000. So then you go 1,000, then 2,000, then 4,000, 16, 32, 64, 128, 512, 1,000, 2,000, right? Actually, it might be 20. It might be, or 2 million. We're talking 2 million potentially. How insane of a difference is that? $1 becoming $1,000 over a lifetime invested in a 10% return versus, or 11% return, versus $1 becoming 1 or 2 million with a 25% year over year return. Holy cow. Now instead of that 60 million we were talking about conservatively with a S&P 500 over your lifetime, we're now talking about something completely different, right? We're talking about, say, $1 million to keep it simple. And it would be way more than that because it was 23 times versus 10. So we could conservatively say potentially 8 million. Let's say 8 million. $1 becomes 8 million with a 25% ROI over a 70-year period. Okay. So if we have a lump sum of 60,000 and every dollar becomes 8 million by the time you die, you take that 60. I'm gonna have to pull a calculator out here because I'm done with the mental math here. These numbers are becoming too big. I've been wanting to make a video about compound interest because this is how I see the world. It's so unbelievably inspiring to me. It's pure potential. Okay. Let's take the $1. Every dollar becomes, okay, all we need to do is say $60,000 times 8 million. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Enter. Okay. So that's 3, that's 6, that's 9. Okay. Am I looking at this right? thousands, millions. This is billions. No, this is millions right here. This is billions. So that's 480 billion. You know, that's absolutely unbelievable. That is Elon Musk's potential net worth right now, right? Insanity. Absolute insanity. But that's the power that's of potential and a long lifespan and a high percentage return over the entire lifespan. Insanity. So we went from, okay, we got $60,000 at age 18. We're going to die at 88, 70 years. We're getting 11% return on year over year. And these are all just rounding estimations. We're going to end with 60 million. Okay. Take a step back. Okay, what if we, instead of investing in other people's mature big businesses, we took that money and invested them in entrepreneurial ventures, and year over year, we got a return of 25%. What does that look like over a 70-year period? 480 billion, right? Insanity. Absolute insanity. But let's take it a step further, and this is the current stage I'm now working in, the paradigm I'm working in. Other people's big mature businesses, index funds, entrepreneurial ventures, personal entrepreneurial ventures, right? Final stage is, okay, what is the highest potential return on money? Let's just say that. It's now value and it's now time and it's all these other things, but let's just keep it simple, money. Okay, if entrepreneurial ventures and getting a 25% return is unbelievably good over a long term, insanity, 480 billion, insanity. What is the layer that underlies this? That's even the next step, as insane of a difference as 60 million to 480 billion. What's the next step? Okay, what if I could invest this money, into improving the person, the entity, myself, who creates the businesses, so that I can ensure that I can get a 25% return year over year from my entrepreneurial ventures or higher? How do I do that? That's where the learning comes in. That's where learning comes in. Because what do I need to do to get 25% return ROI over year of my whole life? Who knows? There's no direct answer, right? So you need to be adaptable. So adaptability, persistence, discipline, entrepreneurial skills and knowledge, and all these meta skills that I was talking about, meta skills down here now, to create the businesses, to have the mindsets, to have the ambition, to have all these things that I believe are learnable. Okay, so meta skills underlie the businesses, or they provide the ability to create the businesses and get that higher than the market returns through personal ventures. Okay, what's the meta skill that underlies all meta skills? And that's where I found learning. Through all this reasoning, I found learning. If I can spend time and money learning how to learn, that is the ultimate ROI use of time. Because I can learn how to run businesses. I can learn how to make businesses. I can learn how to invest my money better. I can learn how to network. I can learn how to create things. I can learn how to problem solve. I can learn any specific skills, right? All these things are learnable. So what if I just cut all the bullshit and I learn how to learn? What if I can learn how to create businesses with twice the efficiency? Right? Now I'm learning with twice, I'm creating businesses at a 2x rate. What is the potential there? Now, instead of getting a 25% return ROI, I can get a 35 or a 45 or a 50% return because I'm creating better businesses, better products faster, because I learned how to make better businesses. I learned how to innovate. I learned how to understand what market. All right, guys, I'm sure this looks pretty shitty, but my phone died, and that's what I was recording on, and I want to finish this thought before I go to bed. It's about New Year's. That's the final frontier I was on 2 years ago, right? Learning, and I still am. That was a massive breakthrough in my life. That was where I was like, this is a cheat code. This is the cheat code. This is a massive cheat code. The first cheat code I figured out was sleeping. I learned that, athletes that slept 9 hours versus athletes that slept 8 hours on average outperformed in athletic competitions the ones that slept 8 hours. The ones that slept 9 hours outperformed the ones that slept 8 hours by something like 10 or 11%. When I learned that, I'm like, holy cow, right? You start stacking up these small percentages. If I can learn how to sleep, or if I sleep better than I would if I didn't know this knowledge about sleeping, and I can get a 10% increase in my performance over a year. Okay, holy cow. Let's talk about percentages on the business. Now I can get a 27.5% return on my entrepreneurial investments versus a 25% return, because that 10% increase in performance due to sleep improvement, that was like, holy cow, that's a cheat code. That was years before I figured out learning. Learning is the no, that is the super cheat code, because I can learn how to sleep the best in the least amount of time. And you apply that to everything. You apply that to health. I can learn how to become in the 99.9 percentile of health in amount of time that takes 99.9% of people, they don't learn anything in that amount of time, because that's how fast I can learn these things, through learning how to learn. And this is where the whole percentages of money and everything becomes just obsolete. It doesn't make it. Numbers stop making sense at this point. I'm now at age 22, and I took that $60,000 lump sum plus whatever I had extra, all invested in S&P 500, and I took all that money and I put it all into my mind. I spent that time. I used that money to buy me time so that I could spend my time learning how to learn and optimizing my health and optimizing all these meta skills in order to maximize the amount of value I create in my lifetime. And currently I'm 22 years old, and I have a net worth of zero, nothing, because I put all that money into intangible things in the dark that no one could see for 3.5, 4 years. This is it. I'm on the breaking point. I'm going to figure out how to make an income from this YouTube channel or something related to it very quickly. I'm going to pour my life into this and make this vision a reality, because I know I've already cracked the code. I did it years ago, and my external world is going to catch up with my internal world, or at least start tracking with it. And yeah, I just completed my first, it wasn't my first full semester. It was my second semester. It was my first semester at school in a university in college. I didn't go to college after high school. This is my first time at a university. I was at a community college for one semester before, under the principle of meta knowledge, that when we learn things, the brain actually changes. The brain rewires, reorganizes, and actually becomes more efficient. And learning anything improves your ability to learn anything at a higher rate and a deeper level. So general knowledge, liberal arts, or just anything is going to make you better at learning. So that's why I was in school. And I took 15 credits. I took 4 courses and 2 labs. I ended the semester, 4 out of the 6 courses over 100%, lowest grade essentially a 99%, getting top scores on probably over half of the exams I took in courses with 50 plus people, up to 100 people. So the learning is locked in, right? And now this is the final frontier, I think of. Or it's never the final frontier. There's always another frontier, but there's a hierarchy, Bloom's hierarchy of learning. And I haven't studied it that much, but at the top of it is creation. Creating is the highest form of learning. And I've come to the point where it's like, okay, now I'm just learning to learn and learning to learn. Not, let me rephrase that. Now I'm just learning with no direction of learning. And I've been doing that, but now I have some direction. I have some goal. I want to create this channel that has, my own personal expression, my own deep, authentic self expressed, make a career out of it. A career of being able to do exactly what I want to do that's personal to me with no limitations. If I don't want to do something, I don't do it. If I want to do something, I do it. And I overcome my fears. I become the greatest version of myself. Like this is what I want to do. And that's where I'm at. I could continue to spend more and more time in school and continue to get smarter and continue to be able to learn faster. But I don't know if that's even necessary at this point. There's a deep craving in myself to create things, to get better at creating things, which school really isn't about. I can download information, but a lot of it is just downloading information at a rapid rate, and less so about creation. Whereas pursuing something like YouTube, I can create every day. I can think about creating every day. I can get better at the meta skill of creation through creating. I can become more of myself through exploring myself more and more. So that's where I'm at right now. Just like yesterday, this has come to a pretty long video. I'm gonna just, I don't know how long it was on my phone before it died, but I don't think anyone's gonna watch this to this point. Like I said yesterday, there was a point at which I don't think anybody's watching in the present. Maybe in the future, I'm certain people will get to this point in this video, yes, from yesterday. Right now, I don't think anyone's watching this, so I'm really enjoying this process right now of breaking free of all these limiting beliefs and reaching a level of creative freedom where I can pick up the camera and just start talking with no plan, no script. And I never would have planned for this video to come out as a video about learning or a video about compound interest or a video about business. It was a general idea at first of everything works if you truly believe in it, and it's truly who you are at your core. And this is what this is at my core. I don't know what it is. I don't know what. Someday, maybe me or other people will look back and define what this is, what I've been doing. Maybe it's obvious when you're watching this, but to me, I'm just waking up every day and going into the unknown and creating things. That's it. Figuring it out as I go. But I'm getting damn tired. I don't know if I'm going to stay up till the New Year's. My fucking throat is sore. New York's air, breathing all that secondhand smoke it's been hitting the back of my throat, and it's been getting dang sore. So I'm going to stop talking and go find a water. Smash the like button if you really watched this far. Wow. I didn't know. I wonder if that shows up on screen. Boom. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Steve Jobs, for creating Apple. I know you didn't create this, but it wouldn't be here without you. You know you're dead now, but I'm going to go find a water. Smash like if you made it this far. I really hope this is all showing up on video. There's like bubbles and like fireworks and stuff. Smash like. Smash subscribe. Do it now. I never asked for subscriptions. I don't give a shit. Why haven't I? Subscribe right now. Comment below if you made it this far. You just spent this long watching the video. come on, comment something. This sparks something in your mind. There's something going on in your mind right now. Stop being afraid and comment it. Is it a good one? Is it a bad one? Do you not agree? Do you think everything I've been saying is bullshit? Good. And then type it in the comment. If you agree with what I'm saying or it inspired you, tell me. That's it. Because if you made it this far, I really appreciate you, and I hope you appreciate me expressing these ideas and that this has sparked some new insights into your head. So, namaste. I'm signing off. See you guys.